Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is Jason, and today we're back with some more Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Last time, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for, we'll say, the rushed nature of the video, but last time we decided we were going to go ahead and start the main quest, which, it was listed here in our journal. So basically, when we asked about Morrowind history, Kisquis gave me a copy of A Short History of Morrowind and suggested I look for a copy of On Morrowind, the Imperial Province by Eremanwe of Sunhold. I have not read the A Short History of Morrowind yet, but maybe if I've got some time, we'll go ahead and do a Morrowind book club where I'll put that in maybe after this video, or not in this video, but I'll do it after this video. We'll see. Whatever. Anyways, also, along the lines of that, though, we also wanted to go ahead and talk to Mr. Hasfat Antabolus at the Balmora Fighters Guild, which is where we're at right now. And what we want to do is we want to ask him what he knows about the Nerevarine secret cult and the Sixth House secret cult. We're basically what we're doing is we're trying to find him, and I know that he's downstairs. I don't think, no, it's not through this door that leads to bedrooms. Yes, but hey, bedrooms have locked chests in them. So let's go ahead and close the door and maybe do a little bit of looting on our way to find the gentleman that we need to speak with. Why are we wearing a robe? I don't know. So we can look, I don't know, mage-ish? Sure, why not? We'll go ahead and take some gold and the scuttle in there. And we're getting some practice in with our lock picking here because we need to increase our security so that we can go ahead and complete a quest for the Thieves Guild in Alderun and get use of the Mages Guild, in Alderun again. All right, so he should be just around this corner. And I know this just because I've played this before. There's the gentleman right there. That's who we want to talk to. Now, there's a book over on the corner by the, let's see those crates. I want to go ahead and see what this book is. What is this book? Fighters Guild Charter. Okay, not important. So it looks like we've got kind of like a sparring room. We've got like, I don't know, is that a mat? It's a very thin mat. But yeah, I guess that's what they're using, I guess for training maybe in the Fighters Guild. Hey buddy, how's it going? Good day, Alexis. So you're with Caius, eh? And Caius wants information, of course. There's a this for that involved. I require a favor first, and then I'll tell you what you want to know. Alright, I'm listening. What's the favor? There are Dwemer ruins nearby called... okay, I'll make a serious effort to try to say it. Arkningthand. Sure. I need you to run over there and find me a little cube with a circular design. Okay, for a second I was like, then it's not really a cube, it's more of a ball, isn't it? Sorry. A little cube with a circular design and some symbols on one side. It's called a Dwemer puzzle box. Bring me back the Dwemer puzzle box and I'll tell you what you want to know. Well, tell me about this Arknignag, sure. The old Dwemer ruins at Arknignag are extensive on the surface and underground. Head south out of town past the Silt Strider port, then cross bridges east over the Odai River at the signpost, head north towards Caldera. Immediately on the right, see a signpost for Molag Mar. Turn right and head uphill to an old road to cross an ancient Dwemer bridge over Foyada Mamea. Mamea? Sure. The entrance to Arknignag is on the east side of the Foyada, south of the bridge. Turn a crank on the pipe nearby to open the doors. Very descriptive. You mentioned a Dwemer puzzle box. The little cube I'm looking for is about the size of a fist, maybe a little bigger. It will be made of a coppery metal with a circular design and symbols on one side and some lined marks on the other sides. That's all I want, that little cube. All right, so basically we've got to follow these instructions to I love how my pronunciation of the word is just degraded with every time I say it. Now I'm just like Agnignag. Okay, well, let's not go through there. I'm glad that it didn't let me open it because it's trapped, right? So that could have potentially hurt. So yeah, we want to go ahead and find these ruins, and I seem to recall. I think I know where these ruins are. I don't know necessarily how well they match up with the directions we were given though. So let's try to follow the instructions. Just so we're playing in character. let's see. So what we want to do is we want to head south out of town past the Siltstrider port, then cross the bridges east over the Odai River. All right, let's do that. We'll take it one step at a time. And that's one thing I really like about Morrowind. And actually, now that I think about it, it's that's sorry, I was thinking, I was like, is it the only game to actually use directions? You know, Arena and Daggerfall, they did give, we'll say, like compass directions, but they never really give you like, go ahead, cross this bridge, you know, take a left, and all that kind of stuff. Now, we don't necessarily need to read further than cross that bridge, because we can actually see Argnagnag from here. It's this great big these ruins up here in the distance. So what we're gonna do is all we need to do is take this path off to the left, and that will lead us up to the Dwemer ruins that we're looking for. You know, I think that maybe some of the issues with, we'll say, people that people have had with navigating might have been alleviated with a longer draw distance. Just thinking. But then again, you know, we could also go ahead and say, you know, fog is a big part of Morrowind, so maybe I'm ruining the experience. Whatever. You know, there's also a few instances where the instructions that are given are actually wrong. It's not very common, to be honest, but they are there. And honestly, it doesn't bug me because I'm like, in real life, you're going to get bad directions as well. To me, having little errors like that doesn't make the game unplayable or dumb, or it's not a knock against the game. To me, it's just an extra element of realism. You know, why is it that NPCs and stuff, they're always perfect? They're always like, yes, go there. Unless it's some sort of thing that's built into a quest where it's like, aha, we deliberately sent you to the wrong place, aha. So, yeah, whatever. Anyways, this guy here, he's kind of a jerk. He's going to try and kill us. So I'm wondering just how good our sneak is at this point. I'm kind of like, maybe we can go ahead and just sort of sneak right past him. And by sneak past him, I do mean get behind him and backstab him. Because we'll say, unlike some of the other enemies we've crossed paths with, this one here I know for a fact is hostile. And for a level 1 character, if you try to do the main quest a little too early, believe me, this guy is a pain. So yeah, there we go. We got nice Snowy Granius. Well, Snowy Granny, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and use Last Wish.
Surrender now, and I might let you live.
Dude, you got one-shotted. Sorry, Snowy Granny, you dead. He doesn't really have anything decent on him, which I'm not too surprised about because, like I said, this is meant to be a sort of a low-level sort of dungeon. We're kind of getting into the main quest a little bit late, admittedly. I spent a lot more time running around doing various things than I maybe should have. But then again, you know what? Who's to say what I should and should not have done? You know, it's you know, it's an open world game. It's freeform. One thing I do want to note, though, let me see, level 12. I want to make sure difficulty is set to 24. There we go. Just to at least try to provide me a bit more of a challenge. So basically, by turning that little crank, it opens up these doors. Now you can run through, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and stand right here, and eventually the doors will close again behind me. There we go. Alright, so this is the heavy Dwemer door to Argnagnag in the Hall of Centrifuge. So, let's go ahead and get started with our first main quest dungeon. Now, like I said, for a low-level character, this can be a bit of a... be a little bit, we'll say, on the challenging side, but we're level 12, so we're more than well-equipped for the challenge. And actually, it's kind of good because I don't want to have to retrace my steps. There's actually, I'm trying to remember, one of the chambers in here, I think you're not meant to go at a low level, and you're supposed to come back here later, but we're kind of powerful enough that I think we can go ahead and deal with that. So we want to scour this place. We want to look for this tiny little cube. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, you know what I'm going to do? Where's my hotkeys? I hit F1 to bring up the hotkey menu. We're going to go ahead and change this to the magic menu, and we're going to find the Staff of Light. You know what? Honestly, light plays no effect whatsoever on the ability for enemies to see you in this game. So I figure, you know what? Let's go ahead and turn it on. We're in a dungeon. I've been forgetting. I know some of you have dark screens. You know, everything looks perfectly fine on mine, and most people have told me the same. But you know, for those people that might be having dark screens, you know, I'm sorry. I did get the light initially for you guys. I'll try to use it, but I'm not going to keep it on all the time because I kind of feel like it kills the mood. Like everything just looks flat. There's no shadows or anything. It just looks flat. So I kind of want to, you know, I'll use it sparingly. I'll use it here and there. I'm kind of curious though. Let's go ahead and use Night Eye, just because I want to see the contrast between light and the Night Eye spell. Actually, Night Eye might be kind of nicer because it just brightens things up without totally. But maybe it's just the intensity, but it's like it doesn't totally kill all of the lighting effects. Yeah, so maybe I'll find. I'll go ahead and enchant a Night Eye item, which actually reminds me, I was going to go ahead and enchant something this time, wasn't I? I completely forgot. I was so caught up with like, yes, I was excited. We're going to be starting the main quest. So you know, it still kills some of the mood. Whatever. We'll go back and forth. We'll use light. Oh, there's a guy. You know what? Do I have my blur ring on hotkey? I do have it on hotkey. Cool. Where is it? There we go. Blur ring. So there's a guy walking around. Everyone in this dungeon is hostile. So, or hostile. Hostile or hostile? However you want to pronounce it. There are. Okay. This leads to cells of hollow hands. That's a different area altogether. I want to sort of finish exploring this area a little bit. We're gonna maybe try to backstab this guy. Actually, what is my hotkey here? Steel short sword. I no longer have this item, so why don't I go ahead and assign Last Wish. I like the Last Wish sword, so there we go. Wait for him to turn his back.
Now this is fighting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Give in. You're dead already.
I am? Darn it! No! Why didn't anyone tell me? Alright. Common, crap. Whatever, we'll leave it. Alright, so that was actually pretty easy. Like I said, this is a this is a lower level area. Alright, let's light up this place. Wow, this is some brightness. Okay. Let's see. We've got ornate Dwemer goblets. You know, the Dwemer items are very valuable, but they're also very heavy. So you know it might be tempting to go ahead and start grabbing them because we can go ahead and sell them for a lot of stuff. Like even the ebony, it's like, yeah, man, we can go ahead and sell that for like 200. But when you do the, we'll say, like sort of a cost to, or we'll say a value to weight ratio, or when you sort of try to compare it, it's really not worth it. All right, that leads to the Weeping Bell Hall. All right, so basically we've come to an area here that leads us to two paths that we can take. So we will go. Give me a second. All right, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's just go through the nearest door to us. You know, it doesn't really matter if we happen to find the puzzle box. Either way, we're going to be clearing out the entire dungeon. So let's go into the Weeping Bell Hall. And here we are in Weeping Bell Hall. It's a hall. I don't see any weeping bells, but you know, actually that makes me wonder. It's strange how my mind works. It's just, you know, it goes from one thought to the next, just bounces around. Random, we'll say random occurrences or small objects will cause my mind to bounce around to like 1,000 different topics and then settle on one that's seemingly completely unrelated. But anyways, we're here to talk about the game, not, we'll say, my thought processes on everything. You know, I was thinking about this. You know, when I've mentioned before, you know, I'm a big fan of, we'll say, like tabletop RPGs. You know, the old get out the pen and paper and the dice rolls, grab your friends, and hey, you know, someone's the game master, someone's the player, some people are the players, and you know, go ahead and have like an old school RPG. Okay, so my sneak is evidently not that good. We're gonna go ahead and try and backstab you, although I believe my blur ring is gonna wear out. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna wait over here because you're gonna walk back this way, and then I'm gonna pop up behind you and try to backstab. You're walking a little bit too quickly, though. I can't keep up with you. Oh, darn it. Oh well. Oh well, that wasn't we'll say a clean kill, but oh well, it will do. It will do. Anyways, and you know, I keep thinking about like dungeons, because you know when you're designing a dungeon for, we'll say, a player, because I most of the time I would say 90 maybe even 99% of the time when we did play, I was the game master, or also known as the dungeon master, but I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons, so I was mostly just the game master. But you know, when I would design dungeons, well, not at first, but eventually, you know, you kind of start to see, we'll say, dungeons as a character in of itself. You know, it has to tell a story, to be sort of an interesting location, rather than just sort of a bunch of walls on grid paper. So, you know, you're not going to turn your back, are you? Okay, well, just going to
feel to know death is near.
Pretty comforting, because I am death. Deathman. I'm gonna call you Deathman. Tuus, whatever. You know, we'll say there's a character to. That one was trapped, and I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. Darn it! I could have increased my security skill. Anyways. I gotta pay more attention to the doors here before I open them. All right, these ones aren't trapped. So anyways, you know, you want, rather than just having, you know, okay, you enter a dungeon and now there's goblins, or now there's this and then there's this. You know, I'd want to sort of create a story, and you want to sort of tell, you know, explain what this dungeon is. These dungeons don't simply exist to give loot and have monsters for you to face. They should be, you know, actual locations. And, you know, I like... Oh, there we go. There's a trapped one right there. I like... it doesn't, we'll say, have dungeons in the same, say, traditional sense, but I like the way Dark Souls does its world. That's the kind of way I see dungeons as, we'll say... That's the way they're supposed to be. Dungeons is the way Dark Souls crafts its world. You know, each area has a story.
Give in.
Okay, I'll give in to my desire to backstab. But yeah, like the world of Dark Souls it's crafted, you know, it's in a very exact way. There's little details everywhere that sort of tell a story of what the place is, and it's up to the player to sort of figure things out. You know, what is this place? You know, what was it used for? And that's the kind of the same approach I liked using, well, I'll say, when designing dungeons. You know, I feel like a dungeon should be a character in and of itself. Now, with that long sort of lead-in, I almost feel like this is a talk that should be on its own video here. But with that long lead-in, I find it curious, or I like looking at, like, since we're going ahead and we're starting, we'll say, the main quest, some of the main dungeons in Morrowind, I thought that, you know, it's got me thinking about, we'll say, the dungeons in the previous games. And what is this even used for? A Dwemer cylinder. So we know a cylinder attaches to this for some reason, and this thing has a pipe going over there, and it rotates. I don't know what this thing does, but, you know, Daggerfall, honestly, or, you know, I keep saying Daggerfall, and I think that's a bit of, we'll say, a French thing ingrained in me, because, I don't know, when I'm saying, let me think about that. A, yeah, because my hard A sounds like A, but my soft A, a lot of times I want to say ah, or not ah. I said it right this time. There we go, now I sound like an idiot. It's more of a, oh, it's almost an O sound when I try to say an A. So, I don't know, whatever. I keep wanting to say Daggerfall or Daggerfall. It's Daggerfall. There we go. Because people keep getting on me about my pronunciation of dagger. There we go. And honestly, I think it's a little, like I said, a little bit of my my French creeping in there. That it's caused me to compensate my hard A a little bit more, or my A's in a strange way. Whatever. You know, Dagger. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna be saying Dagger. It's my thing. Daggerfall's dungeons felt kind of rather unremarkable to me. There were some parts that sort of told a story, but for the most part, I felt like it was they were just sort of there. You know, it was just like generic dungeon with you know, maybe an interesting section or an interesting room, but there wasn't a whole lot there that really kind of let me look at it, and like with the way it was laid out, it didn't really tell a story for me. So I couldn't look at it and say, okay, yeah, this is a mine, or this here is a you know, this is just a bandit cave or whatever like that. Like you could kind of a little bit, but it didn't have like a lot of small details. It really couldn't. But almost interestingly, you know, I'm saying that Daggerfall couldn't have these interesting little details, and yet I feel that Arena has the strongest dungeons in the entire series. Now that said, I have not. Okay, wait a minute. There's these 2 doors, but there's 3 doors out here. No, there wasn't. Was there? Yes, there was. There was one over here. So this is Weeping Bell Hall. Where does this lead? Weeping Bell Hall as well. Okay, it's just the other one. All right. All right. I think we've cleared this area. We can run through it. But yeah, I was thinking about, because I've been playing Arena again. Just going ahead, and I was doing my sort of no weapons, no armor, just punch everything challenge. And you know, I was playing through again, and I had gotten to Stonekeep, which is the first sort of you know, story dungeon in the game. And one thing that sort of struck me whoa, this is not a place I've been. One thing that struck me was you know, like a lot of the descriptive text, and even the way the thing was laid out, and the types of enemies that were in it. It told a story, you know, something about, you know, the keep being assaulted or something, and then people falling back into these goblin caverns, and I felt that it was very, very cool. It told a story, and you know, I'm kind of looking at this dungeon here, for example, and trying to sort of see what was this place. Now, like I understand that I can't expect things to always be exactly, we'll say, evident, because you know the Dwemer, they disappeared a long time ago, and you know, there's going to be more of a distance of time between, we'll say, like when Stonekeep was abandoned and when was abandoned by the Dwemer. So you know, there are going to be it's not fair for me to sort of expect there to be the same level of detail, because you know, other people have moved in. As we can see, it looks like bandits have moved in, and they've put.
Be dead soon.
I know, I will. And you know what?
Run while you can.
You will too. Awesome. Yeah, these guys have just garbage on them. This is like I said, this is a low-level dungeon here. But that's kind of what I see here, is that there's this advanced technology at work that nobody seems to be able to understand. We don't know what it's doing, but we do see that it's we've seen lava, so we know that the you know, they were doing something with lava. Maybe they were using you know, what would you call it, like maybe not thermal, geothermal, whatever. They were using that for maybe energy production, steam even, you know, because they have I don't know, it's got almost like a steampunk thing to some of their robots. I call them robots, but I guess you could call them machinations or something. I don't know. Some sort of term that would be appropriate to describe them. And so, you know, looking at this dungeon and trying to figure out exactly, you know, what it is. And I don't know. I think I still think Arena has the best dungeons in the entire series, because they've got that descriptive text at places, and that really sort of helps add the little details that weren't possible with the technology at the time. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be trying to do. I want to kind of figure out. I think maybe it was in blood. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is not the area where the puzzle box is, because of the lock level. To me, I seem to recall that being a pain for, we'll say, a low-level character, but we want to go ahead and get on the other side of this, because like I said, we want to clear out this entire dungeon, so we now find ourselves in Land's Blood Gallery. See, and I'm wondering, you know, if there's something about, we got Heaven's Gallery and Land's Blood Gallery, you know, I wonder if we can find, well, let's say, hints to what these places were supposed to be just from the names of the locations. So there we go. We got a Sphere Centurion. I can't remember. I think last time we encountered one of these, it did give us a bit of a hard time. Kind of hoping that we can get the jump on this and kill it rather quickly. Centurion Sphere, sorry. Yeah, we've gotten stronger. And it's obviously bugged out again. Like a lot of the enemies, whenever I use the blur ring to sneak up on someone, it just seems like it's like they freak out. Their brains melt down and they just want to run away. They're like, "Ah, it's a ghost." So, you know, I feel in some ways I feel like I'm kind of cheating. I feel kind of cheap, but in other ways I'm just kind of like, eh. Ah, there we go. We got a Dwemer ghost. Hi there, Dwemer ghost guy, who seems to be unable to harm me because maybe he's not casting harmful spells. He's trying to grave curse, so he's draining my willpower and my luck. Not by a whole lot. You know, even with the difficulty boost, like I said, we're in a low-level area. These guys are not going to be much of a pain. So that there was a dwarf, or not a dwarf, a Dwemer. It says dwarven, but as I've explained before, you know, they're not actually dwarves. They are they're a type of elf, and I wonder if that was we'll say, I guess I'm not sure if the correct term would be a retcon, because you know, it mentioned I think it mentioned dwarves in Arena, but they never actually. I think they mentioned them in, yeah, because there was dwarven stuff, but we never saw any dwarves, so it makes me wonder. Oh, a dwarven shield. It's heavy though. An ancient Dwemer Dorky. We'll take that, and we'll take the journeyman hammer so we can go ahead and repair stuff. You know, I'd like to use a shield. You know, maybe down the road, if my character gets to the point where we've maxed out our light armor and maybe our unarmored, then we can start working on different armor types. But honestly, for the time being, I'm just gonna, actually, raw glass is pretty light, and the value of so it's about 100 value per unit. It's not the most efficient, but it's not terrible. What was I saying here? I don't remember what I was saying. Crap. Hate that when that happens. Oh yes, so, you know, the dwarven stuff was in the previous games in the series. But you never actually saw the supposed dwarves, so I wonder if that was sort of I guess a retcon would be, maybe not retcon, but maybe what's the word? Basically, it rewrote part of history so that the dwarven stuff is explained by a race of elves rather than dwarves, because I guess they wanted to have, I guess they didn't want dwarves in their setting, which I think is kind of cool. You know, I feel like if you're gonna make a fantasy setting, a lot of people tend to sort of fall back on the Tolkien sort of types of races and stuff. You know, you have your humans, yep, and then you've got your elves and dwarves, and then of course goblins and stuff like that. But it seemed like with the Elder Scrolls, they kind of, at least by the point of Morrowind, it seemed like their creativity was in full swing, and they were saying, no, let's just make up something new. Let's create something completely unique. Let's really sort of transform this world into something different. I think we've pretty much exhausted all of the stuff here. Yeah, it looks like the steam is coming off this, so I'm wondering if these are supposed to be sort of steam-powered devices. That's possible. Alright, let's, I guess we'll head back out. Wait, Land's Blood? Deep Ore Passage. Wait, how do we get there? There is a passage here that says Deep Ore Passage. How do we get up there? I'm like, there's no secret walls in Morrowind, is there? I don't think there is. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to explore this area just a little bit. I have a feeling that I need to... Wait, let's see. Is it over here? Yeah, I think this is the way. Okay. Oh, that's right, these two doors. I had forgotten about these. My bad. Alright, well, both of these are trapped. That is excellent. That gives me further chance to increase my security skill. So we'll disarm that trap, and then disarm this trap. My fatigue is low, so that's not helping things. Are these trapped as well while I've got my probe out? No, they're not. Okay. So, we're gonna go ahead and use the blur ring, the thief ring. Just so that, you know, we'll have that extra bonus of attributes to help with our terrible fatigue. Wow, okay. Come on, Centurion Sphere, go down. Thank you. This is an interesting looking area. And you know what though? I'm just looking at the time. I have, we'll say, gone over my time that I have for today. So we're gonna go ahead and have to cut, let's say, end things here. If you like the video, sorry. Let's go ahead and we'll say change that up here. Next time we're gonna continue exploring in here. And I guess I didn't really need to say that. But anyways, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and leave it a thumbs down. Either way, let me know what you thought in the comments section. And until next time, I would like to ask you all to game on.